Attention, attention, all personnel. Incoming podcast. This is MASH Matters.
Hello, you good-looking thing, you.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Wow, what a great opening.
Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, you're looking good. I can't see you. We're doing this over the internet, but you sound like you look great, Jeff.
Thank you.
That's Jeff Maxwell, and I'm Ryan Patrick, and this is MASH Matters, where we talk about all that matters with MASH, the television series. Today, we are going to be playing a lot of your voicemails. That's right. If you called and left a voicemail sometime in the last 8 years, it might be played today. Or it might not. We'll see.
Hello, everybody. This is Phil from Boston, Massachusetts. And I really think it's really good. I really love that. It's really overrated.
He's great. That was a great one. Thank you.
That was good. Great. Thank you. Thank you for your call. So before we get into the voicemails, I have a somewhat time-sensitive message that came in from one of our listeners, and I thought we should share this before we jump into the voicemails. It says, "Dear Jeff and Ryan, a little over a year ago in episode 129, you read a message that I sent in trying to find out the meaning behind the MASH Matters t-shirt, Toledo, Gateway to Zanesville. I wore it to Toledo and Zanesville, and nobody knew what it meant. I still have no idea what it means. Toledo and Zanesville are nowhere near each other. In a devastating surprise to my family and I, 6 months after that podcast episode, I unexpectedly lost my job. We knew we would be leaving our hometown of 18 years, but had no idea where we would be moving. In a plot twist worthy of Abigail Porterfield and one that only a MASH lover would be excited about, I was transferred to none other than Toledo, Ohio. In a recent episode where Ryan and Jeff talked about wanting to come to Paco's someday, as well as a young listener named Emma, there was a listener named Lorraine from Ohio, as well as a Lauren who lives in Toledo, and it gave me the push to do something that I've thought about since the day I knew I was moving to Toledo, and I was wondering if you guys could help me with it. Today, I went to the original Tony Paco's Cafe and talked to the manager. Beginning April 20th, 2026, I am going to be hosting a MASH Matters listening party at Tony Paco's. Ryan and Jeff, could you please let my fellow MASHaholics know that I would like to invite all who can to come hang out with me in the MASH Matters family to listen to our favorite podcast while we eat a Paco's Hungarian hot dog in Klingers and now my hometown. The plan to do it is on Monday nights at 7 o'clock following whenever a new MASH Matters podcast drops. The manager said that it's typically a slow time at Paco's, so we should be able to listen without much noise, all while giving our favorite MASH restaurant some business. If people want to find me at Paco's those nights, I'll be the guy wearing the MASH Matters Toledo Gateway to Zanesville t-shirt. I had to laugh when the manager asked who did the podcast, if it was a MASH fan or somebody from the show, and I explained in a way that we have heard many times that it is hosted by Ryan Patrick, who is a fan of the show, and Jeff Maxwell, who played Private Igor on the show. Anyhow, I think it could be a lot of fun. If you guys could share the information, I would be grateful. I hate to eat alone. Thanks for all you do for the greatest podcast of all time, celebrating the greatest television show of all time. And that is from our friend Brian Neville, a resident of Toledo, Ohio.
Wow. How fun. Well, that's a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
How about that?
Except, losing his job unexpectedly, that's kind of a bummer.
That part sucked, yes.
Yeah.
But everything after that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. How exciting. We're going to be big at Tony's Paco's, huh?
That's right, yeah. So again, that's starting April 20th. Anybody in Toledo or the Toledo metro area who would like to head over to the original Tony Paco's and join Brian for a MASH Matters listening party, this is your invitation.
And I think it's important that he send what the admission fee is going to be because obviously there is going to be an admission fee. It's not going to be a free. You can't just walk in and listen like this, can you? Oh, wait a minute. I guess if you stayed home, it would be free.
Yes, there's no charge to listen to it at home, so there shouldn't be a charge at Tony Paco. But you will be supporting Tony Paco's.
Right,
You'll be supporting because you'll be ordering food and, having a lively discussion about how we don't know any answers to any of the questions.
Right.
And
yeah, they can sit around and come up with questions that we will not have any answer for.
They probably will have the answers. We just don't have them.
We don't have them. That's great. Well, that's fun. What a fun note. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
That's fun.
That's a great thing. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And before we move on, I want to say something real quick because this wonderful podcast that we do opens with a wonderful thing, and it is Sal Viscuso, saying, "Attention, attention." And, it gives me chills every time I hear it because he's the real guy.
Yeah.
That's what he did on the real show, MASH. And he graced our podcast with his wonderful performance. And so it's a wonderful thing every week or every 2 weeks, whenever these things show up.
Monthly, yearly, quarterly. It varies. Yeah.
But hearing him do that is so fun. So we want to thank Sal for doing that because it's, normally he'd get a lot of money every time that airs, but he ain't getting any money from us. But
not from us, no.
But with great appreciation for what he does, because he's a terrific actor, and that was a wonderful kind of iconic sound. So thank you, Sal.
Sal is a great, great guy. Yes,
yep, he is.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's jump into some voicemails. This first one coming to us from Scott.
Holy hemostat! Gotta be MASH Matters. Hey, this is Scott Payne calling from thick old city of Deposit, New York. First time caller, long time listener, commenter on Facebook many times. Love the podcast. Favorite character is Holy Hemostat, Colonel Potter himself. The Potterisms, I love them. I keep a diary of them in my notebook. Got a comment about the season 9 episode breakdown. One episode there, How We Danced with BJ's wife. They showed a picture in the scene there when they surprised BJ with a party, and they have the old time film tape of his wife Peg, and she's standing by the fireplace with a picture of old BJ with his mustache. My thinking is, I believe that photo was taken in the episode. Which episode was it? Oh, the episode where they have the reunion there in New York City. And they sent all their relatives a picture that was taken in front of the signpost they wanted to originally do, but they take it in front of the Welcome to Fort Dix sign instead, because Klinger's mother supposedly doesn't think he's in Korea. And I believe that photo was taken there, because I remember them saying in that episode that they took a picture and they had it setting by each place setting, and it looks like the one that might have been taken from that photograph of the whole gang with Klinger and Fort Dix sign. So anyway, love the podcast, love the recaps of the seasons. I get all these little tidbits of information. I go back and rewatch different things I've missed, catch bloopers, catch things. I caught the episode with Hawkeye wearing his blue Converse sneakers in the one episode recently. Love the cast. Love the cast. Love Charles, one of my favorite characters. Charles and Klinger and Colonel Potter are my 3 favorites, believe it or not. There's a lot of love between Klinger and Winchester that sometimes gets overlooked. But anyway, my time's about up. Thanks for listening, and keep going good podcast. Here's looking up your address. Goodbye.
It's listening to that. I wish I knew as much about the show as he does, and could, bring up that information. I wish I did, but it was great listening. Very interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. We talked about this in a recent episode. The photo of BJ on the mantle is obviously one that was taken of him recently at the 407 because he had his mustache. And we questioned whether or not that would, actually be a photo that she would have, an 8x10 photo of him with his mustache. Scott's thinking is that was taken during the photo shoot for the episode The Party. Maybe. I just think that, they really didn't put too much thought into it. And they said, hey, we need to put a portrait of BJ on the mantle. And they grabbed a photo of BJ or took a photo of BJ and then put it on the mantle for the episode. I don't think a lot of thought went into it, because if they had, I think it would have been a photo of BJ in civilian clothes without a mustache, because he didn't have the mustache when he left for the 4077.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think probably they said, BJ, photo. And the prop guy ran down the hall and opened a drawer and pulled something out.
Right.
Ran back. Let's work. Yeah, put it on the frame. Get it in. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That's probably what happened.
I think so.
Yep.
But thank you for your call, Scott. Our next voicemail coming to us from Linda.
Hello, Jeff and Ryan. My name is Linda, calling from Northern California. My connections to MASH are as follows. I am from BJ's supposedly hometown, Mill Valley, California, and my parents and I always got a big kick out of it every time he mentioned our town. I grew up on MASH reruns during the 1970s, And even though I probably didn't understand all the medical jargon, I did love the humor about it. It was my area that lost power during a big storm. It happened a month before I graduated from high school. And so the final episode kind of got in and out, but finally I was able to watch it during the DVDs. I am rewatching my box set of MASH now and laughed out loud when BJ said in his first episode that he was working in a hospital in Toledo, where I now live. And as far as I know, there's never been a hospital in Toledo except for the local veterinarian. A lady I used to babysit for was at a political function with her husband, and Mike Furrow was at the very next table. So she went over, introduced himself, told her she was from Mill Valley, and she said Mike didn't seem too terribly impressed. Now, as someone who has dealt with a neurological condition and now a survivor of brain surgery 14 years, I've had my share of hospital visits from various falls and injuries. So I can't really watch medical shows except for MASH because they bring a sense of drama with light touches of humor, and the storytelling always brings you away from the realities of life into a different world. But the only episode that I can't watch is the one where Hawkeye runs off the road and severely hits his head. Brain surgery survivors like myself get phantom pains as if we are the character that's happening. Jeff, you should know that since listening to the podcast, I am always looking for you in the series as Igor in the background, seeing what you're doing. Thank you both for the tremendously fabulous, marvelous, fantastic, and always fun, interesting podcast. I absolutely love it. There, 3 minutes. Take care. Bye.
Wow. My goodness. Well, thank you for now looking for me. Please keep looking for me.
Do you get a higher residual for the number of people who look for you?
Interestingly enough, yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, the number of people that continue looking for me is recorded by Fox and Screen Actors Guild and a guy named Artie. And he's in a small building somewhere in Long Beach, I think, and he records all those things. So that does help me.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you. And that's really, and gosh, so sorry to hear about your brain situation, the neurological issues. My goodness. And so glad to hear you're able to call us up and give us a wonderful voicemail. We thank you.
Yeah. I found it very interesting, her comment about not being able to watch the episode where Hawkeye gets a head injury because she and other survivors like her have phantom pain when they see something like that.
Oh my God. Isn't that interesting? I mean, it's wow. My goodness gracious. Yeah. Well, don't watch that episode. Gee, don't do it.
You might not want to listen to our podcast too, Linda, because sometimes it sounds like we've had a head injury. So, I'm just saying, I hope we're not giving you too much pain here.
Uh-oh. Sorry. But it was a wonderful message, and you articulated everything beautifully. So whatever is going on with your brain, you're sure able to express yourself gorgeously. So
better than I can most of the time.
I'm not saying anything. No, I'm not saying
no. All right. Next up, we're going to hear from Nick.
Hey there. This is Nick Tabor, longtime fan. Great job with the podcast, guys. I wanted to reach out here, and I just said I left a message before questioning one episode. There is an episode out of season 10, I believe. I cannot remember the name right now. But it's an episode where you have the soldier who is dead, but Max Klinger is the only one who sees him. At that time, one of the other plot in the episode is that Klinger has a massive fever and he's going in and out, and every doctor's worried about him. I believe it was Private Weston. I believe was the soldier. So I watched this with my wife, and I said, "Hey, you're really smart about this, and you're really much smarter than I am. Let's watch this episode because the 40, 50,000 times I've seen this series, I can't figure this one out." And she said, "Hey, it's Klinger's fever dream. He's dreaming about the soldier. The soldier doesn't exist." And at the very end, as they seem to go to credits, Klinger wakes up and says, "Hey, where's Weston? Where is he?" and nobody knows really who that is. They're just kind of going about their day. I want to know what you guys think of that. And yeah, so as we say in my podcast, be good, take care of yourself, but don't be too good. And you have a great day.
Don't be too good. I like that. I like that little adage. Well, don't be too good. Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah. So the episode that he's referring to is a season 10 episode called Follies of the Living, Concerns of the Dead. It is an episode where Klinger is dealing with an infection and has a very high fever. And at the same time, this soldier, Private Weston, has been brought in. He's a recently deceased soldier, and his spirit comes alive and has a conversation with Klinger about life and the things that he's going through and what he's feeling at the moment. It's another kind of one of those episodes that's just not one of your normal run-of-the-mill MASH episodes, kind of one of those genre-busting episodes, because we've got this ghost talking to Klinger. And honestly, I hadn't really thought about this episode in depth until we received this voicemail from Nick. There's two ways to look at it. Private Weston, that is really the spirit of Private Weston. And because of Klinger's condition, he's the only one who can see him. There's that. Or it's Klinger imagining talking with Private Weston because of his fever dream. I'm now wondering which is which. And the one thing I would say, there are some scenes where it's Private Weston by himself without Klinger. And if it was a Klinger fever dream, how could Private Weston be by himself with other characters? I don't know. I'd be interested in hearing what listeners think. Do you think it was completely fictitious and it was all in Klinger's mind? Or was it this spirit was there and Klinger, just because of his fever, was the only one who could see it?
Wow. Well, I will typically weigh in. I don't know. Yeah, well, you make a very good point, and so does Nick. Who is it and how? What was really going on? I think the writers came up with an idea, a story idea that they wanted to give to the character of Klinger, and certainly give it as much depth as possible. Give that story as much depth as possible. So that was a kind of an interesting way to do it. Mm-hmm. But you bring up a good point, Ryan. Was he imagining it or was it fever? Interesting thing. Yeah, we don't know. I don't know.
By the way, the teleplay was by Alan Alda, written by Alan Alda, directed by Alan Alda.
Well, see, there you go. Who knows what the heck he's doing? Give me a break. Alan Alda, he could go one way or the other, depending. He doesn't.
That's true.
He was off the road so much.
All right, let's keep going here. This next voicemail coming to us from Jen.
Hi, Ryan and Jeff. My name's Jen. It is such a delight to communicate with you. I was born in 1969 and have always had MASH in my life. I can't remember when I saw the first episode. My mom and I used to watch when I was a teenager, 2 episodes a night, while she crocheted and I cross-stitched. Anytime I look at those things that I created when I was watching MASH, I can remember the whole scene and setting, even though it was 40 years ago now. Similarly, anytime I see a MASH episode, it takes me back to those days as well. MASH gave me a love for puns and wordplay and words themselves, and I think it really made me a better person because I saw compassion and morality mixed in with my comedy. I live in Pittsburgh, and there's a street near my home called Provost. There's a street off of that called Margaret Street, and the very next street on the other side of the road is called Frank Street, only 0.1 miles away. Since I've moved here, I've always been sad that they didn't meet closer because it's like 2 streets passing in the night. I always think of MASH when I drive past them. Thanks for doing the podcast. For the past 140 or so days, I've been listening to 1 episode a day, rationing it out. I've finally finished and caught up. Here's to the new year and new episodes. Cheers.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, it's too bad there's not a street called Igor Avenue or something right around the corner from somebody. Wow, you got really a MASH intersection there going on.
Yeah, you could have like an entire subdivision with MASH character names.
Yeah. MASH apartment complex, on Igor Avenue and Loretta.
I think we're onto something here.
Yeah. Ooh, this is big. Maybe the crowd at Tony Paco's could bring this up and decide where they want to put the. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know, that Alan Alda thing. Excuse me, going back to that.
Yes.
That other, the Klinger and I think that was Alan's probably very clever way of keeping everybody guessing. Maybe there isn't an answer. Maybe it's the answer that you want. And maybe that was his idea, is to give us something and let you decide what it is that's happening. Maybe. I'm just throwing stuff. I'm just hands waving in the air.
I just wonder if he went into it with a definitive answer in mind. I don't know.
I will try and find out. Let's say I will give it a shot to see if I can find out the answer from the guy who actually wrote the darn thing.
Okay. All right. So the next two voicemails actually came to us as voice recordings, which is another way that you can get us a voicemail if you just want to email us your voice recording at mashmatterspodcast@gmail.com. The first one is from my friend Joey. A few episodes, months, year, whatever ago, I think a listener asked us, what are our favorite shows? If we had like a top 10 or something like that, which we never did follow up with on that. We still have to do that. But Joey, who is also a fan of MASH, but he was also a fan of just television in general, and has really good taste. Well, somewhat good taste because he is a friend of mine. So that's questionable, I guess. But he gave us a really cool rundown of his favorite shows. And he did it in a very unique way. So we're going to let Joey have the spotlight here for just a moment.
Hello, Sparky. Get me Jeff and Ryan. Hi, guys. Joey here from Southern Illinois. Yes, I'm close enough to Ryan that I can drive by and see him in the yard scolding the squirrels. Your discussion of whether MASH is the best television program of all time got me thinking about my top shows. While MASH is in my top 10, it did not make the top spot. Here's my ranking, at least for today. Ask me tomorrow and it would probably be different. At number 10, a sleeper that I don't see often on other lists, Evening Shade. Burt Reynolds with an outstanding ensemble of Hal Holbrook, Charles Durning, Michael Jeter, Mary Lou Henner, and Ossie Davis. Didn't get the recognition this show deserved.
You belong to a hair club?
Yeah. I saw about it in this magazine. They send you treatment once a month. They have to mail it fresh, though, because it's got some kind of animal urine in it.
You put urine on your head?
Well, it's not like I go to the hospital and steal bedpans or something. It's a very rare, exotic animal urine. Go ahead, feel my head. You got a new growth coming in.
No, I don't want to feel your head. I don't want to be in the same room with your head.
At number 9, The Rockford Files with James Garner.
This is Jim Rockford. At the tone, leave your name and message. I'll get back to you.
Jim, it's Norma at the market. It bounced. You want us to tear it up, send it back, or put it with the other?
Hey, Jim, this is Louie down at the fish market. You gonna pick up these halibut or what?
Hey, Rockford, very funny. I ain't laughing. You're gonna get yours.
Number 8, Somebody Feed Phil. Currently my favorite streamer with former Everybody Loves Raymond showrunner Phil Rosenthal. Number 7, The Bob Newhart Show.
I don't know, Dr. Harley. I think I'm making some progress.
You are?
I think I'm overcoming my agoraphobia.
I didn't even know you had a fear of open places.
Open places?
Agoraphobia is a fear of open places.
Oh, I thought it was a fear of agricultural products.
Sorry.
Well, anyway, wheat doesn't scare me anymore. I'm still a little skittish around barley.
Yeah, barley's murder compared to...
Number 6, The Jackie Gleason Show. Imagine basically writing and performing a whole new Broadway show every week.
For the last time, Alice, I'm telling you, I'm going for the $99,000 question.
For the last time, Ralph. I'll be very proud if you win the $600.
$600? Peanuts, peanuts. What am I going to do with peanuts?
Eat 'em like any other elephant.
Number 5, MASH. Still timeless. Number 4, The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
But it does seem that you've been asking a lot of very personal questions that don't have a thing to do with my qualifications for this job.
You know what? You got spunk.
Well,
I hate spunk.
Number 3, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, perhaps the most influential show of all time.
Having trouble divining this one? Yeah.
Sis boom ba.
Sis boom ba.
Describe the sound made when a sheep explodes.
Number 2, The West Wing. And number 1, as close to perfect as you can get, The Andy Griffith Show.
I say this calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud. First sign a youngster's going wrong, you got to nip it in the bud. Nip it. You go read any book you want on the subject of child discipline, and you'll find that every one of them is in favor of bud nipping.
Take care of it.
Only one way to take care of it.
Nip it.
In the bud.
Admittedly, my list skews comedic and 20th century. Honorable mentions include Columbo, NYPD Blue, The Simpsons, The Dick Van Dyke Show, Seinfeld, The Sopranos, Mad Men, and Breaking Bad. Thanks, guys. What do you think of my list?
Well, before we get in that list, do you really scold the squirrels, Ryan? Are you really out there?
Look, sometimes they deserve it, okay?
Well, I guess so.
Little rodents, they come in the yard, they think they own the place.
They're rodents with cute little fluffy tails.
They're still rodents, Jeff. They're still rodents.
Okay.
I am anti-rodent. I think we've talked about this before.
Fine, scold the squirrels. Go ahead, scold the squirrels if it makes you happy.
Get off my lawn. So that's Joey's list, and done in a very creative way. Thank you, Joey.
Yeah. That was a great ramble down memory lane, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he picked great moments. That was terrific. Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
And he's right. Evening Shade does not get a lot of love nowadays, but it was a fantastic show. The Rockford Files, I believe I read that they are rebooting the Rockford Files.
Yes, I'm auditioning for the Rockford guy.
Nice. All right.
I think sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Good luck. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Yeah, some great shows there. And we need to come up with our list. We need to come up with our top 10 sometime soon.
Yes.
Let's put that on the agenda.
All right,
for,
great.
Our next business meeting.
All right, that's a good idea. I'm writing this down right now. How do you spell agenda? Is it A-D-G?
It's A-J-U-N-D-U-H, agenda.
Okay. I thought so. I got it right.
Thank you, Joey. Really appreciate it. Now, here's another voice message. This one coming from overseas. This is Sarah.
Hi, Jeff and Ryan. This is Sarah, currently in the Netherlands, but I'm originally from Minnesota. Been living abroad for, going on 8 years now in various countries. I just wanted to say how much I have enjoyed finding your podcast. There's still many episodes for me to get through, as I'm a bit of a late adopter of the podcast. But it's been quite nice as a compliment for my partner and I are doing a rewatch of MASH. And, well, for him, it's the first time. He's Spanish, and I don't know if MASH was super big in Spain. And I grew up watching it with my dad, sort of reruns after school in the 90s and early 2000s. And I started a rewatch, so then my partner joined in on me just because can be a lot of pain and suffering in the world, and MASH just helps you make sense of it with a bit of humor and a bit of love and humanity. My question is, we just got to the part where Radar leaves the series. The Goodbye Radar episode, absolutely heartbreaking episode. I was definitely crying through it. And my partner and I were both just struck by how suddenly that episode, it was like Gary Berghoff was given a bit more free rein to show off more of his acting potential and all of his range. And we loved it. We loved to see him acting a bit more, like expanding the character of Radar, using his acting techniques. We just thought it was a little sad that we didn't get to see that sooner until the last episode. We're currently listening to the podcast you did interviewing Gary, and we'd be really curious to hear more about, if you know, just what sort of happened in that final episode, if he was given more free reign, if he was given some say in how he exited and was maybe finally able to expand a little bit and show his acting skills in a different light with the character of Radar. Thank you so much. Enjoying the podcast here in the Netherlands. Have a good day.
My goodness, what an interesting question and what an interesting evaluation and what an interesting person to have taken the time to leave us that message from the Netherlands. And what an interesting situation and her interest in the acting issue. I wonder if she's an actress.
Maybe.
Because it seems like there was some interest there about the acting business or the acting process, the acting art. Let me just throw out this idea, do we know who wrote those two?
Yeah, Ken Levine and David Isaacs wrote those. And when we had them on the podcast, we did briefly talk about that episode. And especially because of Radar's anger. He was very angry. And to my recollection, Ken Levine said that isn't necessarily the way that they wrote it. That was just the way that Gary Berghoff interpreted it. So I think that all of that you're seeing, the angst that Gary is showing in those episodes, I think that's 100% Gary.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little angrier than what Ken expected from Gary in that episode, but that was Gary doing that. And because he was dealing with a lot of frustrating things in his personal life at that time, maybe that was just Gary's way to blow off some steam. I don't know.
I would agree 100%. Yes, he was dealing with a lot of personal issues. And certainly one of the biggest personal issues is that he was leaving the show after so many years. And it was a very difficult time for him personally. And so I think he allowed himself all of those frustrations to be a part of that episode and of those performances. And I think that was probably a cathartic thing for him in such a way, because leaving a show like that after all those years and leaving a family and going off into, you don't know what, is certainly scary. And it's also frustrating. And there was anger involved and just doing it and his own frustration. So, yeah, I think he was being very truthful. And I think we were seeing the reality and the emotional truth from Gary.
And if you look at it from an acting standpoint, the character was also kind of thrown into that because the reason he's going home, his uncle passed away. He gets a hardship discharge to go back and help his mom with the farm. So he has guilt leaving everybody behind and all that he did in the camp. He has concerns that things are going to be left in disarray if he leaves. There's that too. So if you look at Gary and all that he had going on behind the scenes, and then you look at Radar and everything he had going on the screen, maybe that combination helped inform Gary's decision to take Radar in a different direction for that episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And certainly all the years that he was kind of the quote Radar character that we all loved and watched and so forth, all of those things were very part and parcel of the characters that needed to show up each week in the show. And so all of the writing was geared towards those characters and those personalities. And this one was a little different. It opened up a vista that, was not there before, and he took advantage of it and used it. And I thought he did a terrific job. I remember McLean Stevens is saying in that recording that we had of him that Gary Berghoff was the best actor on the show. And on some level, I think that's probably true.
Okay, so let's move on here. This is from Brian.
Hey guys, this is Brian from Virginia. Just an observation on the season 2 episode, Divided We Stand. While recently rewatching it, I couldn't help but notice something interesting. Right as at the beginning, when we're first getting the introduction from General Clayton as to what this is going to be about, you see the standard stock shot of the ambulance driving into the compound. Now, if you look up to the far right of the screen, you will see in the road leading into the camp, a modern-day 1970s blue van driving down that road. How I never noticed this before, I don't know, but it's there nonetheless. Talk to you guys later. Love the podcast. Thanks much.
I'll admit it now, it was my van. I was late. I didn't want to take the normal bus that you took in or walk, so I drove my van in right into it. I didn't realize they were shooting, so okay, it was mine.
No, but I do wonder if it's the van that brought you and the cast members to set. I've seen this before. We have discussed this before, but it's always fun to go back and review it again. And I did go back and review the episode. And at the very beginning of Divided We Stand, you look up in the very upper right-hand corner, and it's very quick, but you will see a van driving through. Now he said blue. I think it's more white, but I don't know. But it's there. It's definitely there, and it's definitely a modern van driving into the camp.
What was happening during that scene that it was driving in? Can you?
It was just a wide establishing shot of the camp is all it was.
Okay.
It's there. You'll see it. I mean, once you see it, you'll never unsee it, but it is very quick.
Well, a lot of those bands, a band like that would have been typically bringing somebody into the area. So may have been an actor, could have been me, could have been anybody.
Could have been you.
It could have been. It could have been people that were, supposed to be there at 10 o'clock or whatever time it was. Mm-hmm. And, they just drove in and went, I don't know, what are they doing here? Well, they're shooting a show, Bill. Oh, yeah, okay, well, let's drive in anyway. And they just drove in. What did Bill care? And so they just drive in and drop people off. And that's probably what happened.
Yeah. And back then, you can't go back and digitally take out the van.
No.
So either the director or whoever didn't notice it, or it didn't get noticed until they were editing the show, or it just never was noticed, period.
Yeah.
Whatever reason, the choice was made to keep the van in the background of that episode.
I hope it was me for the heck of it. I just hope,
I hope so too. Wouldn't that be great? Let's just say it was. Let's just do it. Okay.
It was me.
All right. We have 2 more voicemails to go. This one is a very touching tribute. This is Joel talking about his brother and his connection to MASH.
Ryan, Jeff, my brother Kurt Ackerman from Pittsburgh passed away after a long battle with cancer on January 14th. He was 9 years older than me and was a huge MASH fan, and some of my earliest memories were from him, and I was catching MASH on TV. He was a well-respected psychiatrist in Pittsburgh and for the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. While listening to your podcast and watching the show, I started to see correlations in the family to characters of the show and decided to use it for his eulogy. For BJ Honeycutt and Trapper John, when you need a partner to help, he dove in, scalpel and all. Kurt helped everyone he could. You could call him anytime, day or night. If you needed someone to help plan a skit or a joke, they were there to help the camp and Hawkeye cope with the tribulations of war to make people smile. And Kurt would have done the same. Margaret Houlihan, well, being the head nurse and leading lady in the cast, she certainly is more his wife Shoshana than Kurt. But caring for your most important patient in the world at the same time as your own clients is true dedication to all, just like the characters did with their patients in the nursing staff. Colonel Potter, with Kurt being born on an army base in Germany, Dad certainly played his role. Tough when needed to be successful, but a real soft-mannered father for the whole troop. His character had great honor, respected by everyone, and was a great mentor to all of us. Klinger, although Kurt may not have been wearing a dress for a Section 8, the mere relentless work towards trying over and over to do in all different ways shows all the ways Kurt would go to help humor people in his life, and I am sure of his patience. Klinger's love for his Toledo Mud Hens connected him also to his love of baseball. Father Mulcahy, Kurt developed a real connection to his faith and his community. So many rabbis and congregations from the community came to pray with him and his family, even right to the house. Charles Winchester, Kurt had a love of the cello and was really tied to Winchester's love of classical music. He was so talented and played the family's cello that has passed down for generations from Germany from the Holocaust. Igor, Kurt loved food and preparing it too. Kurt's brother-in-law Ken has been amazing and has had amazing chef skills. Certainly makes me think of him as well in this character. Sidney Friedman, the closest of characters to Kurt's psychiatric work. If I close my eyes in his scenes, I would think it was Kurt because his character was so soft-spoken and passionate in taking in what troubled them all. Kurt always spoke in a tone that was comforting even in the most difficult of situations. Finally, Hawkeye. From the character's true compassion to his humor and even more the practical jokes, Kurt could be his twin. Hawkeye dropped everything to go save lives no matter the time, and Kurt mirrored his dedication to his patients. As titled in the last episode of MASH, Kurt, however hard it is time to say, goodbye, farewell, and amen. Once again, this is Joel Ackerman from Comac, Long Island. I was giving you some tidbits of a eulogy that I read for my brother's funeral just a week ago. Love your podcast and look forward to all of them in the future.
My. Well, thank you, Joel. Certainly sorry for your loss. Sounds like a very difficult one, obviously, but you did a wonderful job in terms of the eulogy. I kind of remember this. Ryan, am I mistaken? But I think we had an email from Joel with this eulogy, and I believe we were able to send it to the cast.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Forgive me. I have a life as well, and I'm not quite sure what happened then. But you just be certainly assured that the eulogy and your thoughts were sent to the cast.
Joel, I'll echo what Jeff said. Very sorry for your loss. And based on the tidbits of the eulogy that you gave here, he sounds like a hell of a guy.
Yep.
He left you with some wonderful memories. And wonderful that you can connect the show to the love that you had for your brother. Thank you for sharing that with us.
All right.
Let's close this out.
Okay.
Well, it wouldn't be a voicemail episode unless we heard from our friend John J. Cashman.
Hey, Ryan and Jeff. John J. Cashman from New Jersey. Honored to be called your favorite monologist. I've been called a lot of things, but that was the first. I want to start this message by thanking you for episode 148. Where you called out all the false information that is out there online. I'm really tired of seeing the shocking secret that took Mr. Ed off the air and other such nonsense. And people need to know that most of this information is buffalo bagels. Anyway, today I'd like to talk about a couple of books. In the original Richard Hooker novel, the first person we meet is Rado O'Leary, enforcing what a pivotal character is in the book, the movie, and the series. Also in the book, in Chapter 1, Hawkeye is talking to Duke. Duke never made it to this series, but that's another conversation. Anyway, Hawkeye says, my idea is we work like hell when there's work and try to outclass the other talent. This will give us enough leverage to write our own tickets the rest of the way. And that was the key to Hawkeye's success. Season 1, episodes 1 and 4 are both great, even though they have amazingly similar plots. In both, Hawkeye does such a fine job that the general overlooks his shenanigans. We saw this in later episodes, where he splashed mud on a colonel or got into a shoving match with one in the officers' club. He got away with it. In the episode of the Novocaine Mutiny, the resolution was, you wouldn't want to lead Hawkeye Pearson to battle, but you'd want him there when that battle was over. And the book I first learned about from MASH Matters was Memoirs of a MASH Surgeon by Dr. Samuel Gelfand. In the book, Dr. Gelfand said he was the original Hawkeye, and the nickname had nothing to do with the last of the Mohegans, but it was because of his surgical skill. And I found a lot of real-life events in this book that made it to this series. For example, there really was a 5 o'clock Charlie. The doctors tried to get their houseboy enrolled in college in the States, and a POW once grabbed a scalpel to defend himself in the OR. MASH fans will recognize those events from classic episodes. But according to Dr. Gelfand, the temperature never got above 50 degrees. If we believe that, we would not have had fine episodes like No Sweat and None Like It Hot. Also, Dr. Gelfand's MASH did not have a regular chaplain on staff. But I'm glad the series took a dramatic license with that because Father Mulcahy is such a great character. Once again, my 3 minutes is almost up. So Ryan and Jeffrey, take my advice. Don't give amphetamines to your mice.
Wait a minute. Don't give amphetamines to your mice? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a plot point in a later episode with Radar.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that.
Obviously, duh.
Yeah, obvious. Thank you. Sure.
Come on.
What a great what was that? I'm not sure what that was. What a great
That
monologue.
was a classic John J. Cashman phone call.
Classic, really classic. Yes. Yeah. And now we're cutting to John J. Cashman. I mean,
our correspondent in the field.
Yeah. We could send him to different places around the country and he could report from there.
Right.
Reporting from Tony Paco's John J.
Right.
Cashman.
Yeah. He could go.
I like.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's it. That's enough. I think we've done enough damage. Again, if you would like to call and leave a voicemail under 3 minutes in length, please call 513-436-4077, or you can email us your audio file, mashmatterspodcast@gmail.com.
Well, I'll just throw this out really quickly. A lot of people said some nice things. My wife and I just experienced kind of a loss in our family, and it was very difficult, kind of still is, but we got a lot of wonderful messages from people around the country and a lot of wonderful messages from listeners. So we really appreciate your thoughts at a very difficult time. So thank you, everybody, for doing that.
Well, that does it for this episode of Mash Matters. We'll be back with more shenanigans and tomfoolery in a couple of weeks.
I think Tomfoolery is going to leave a message actually next. He's coming up.
I always love hearing from Tom.
He's great, isn't he?
Great guy.
I think he and Cashman, they're going to get together. Foolery and Cashman. It could be a law firm or I don't know.
A vaudeville team, something. Yeah.
Something.
All right. Until next time, here's looking up the amphetamines in your mice. No, here's looking up your old address.